All right, guys, welcome to the #1 place to get better at League of Legends. I am NEACE, live, blah, blah, blah. All right, now it's time for the recap. What did I yell at you about last time?
Moving in the noodly movement was the #1 thing, going back and forth instead of doing this, instead of doing this random shit. Items, you changed my runes. 4 items, Ludens, Horizon Focus, and Magi's. You yelled at me for farming big and not dying, and
yes.
Sarah just playing that. So moving back and forth. I will say, once I started moving back and forth, I started dodging so much shit that I had no business dodging just off of moving that way.
Right.
I think I've dodged like a jungle gank or 2 per game, several skill shots. It's like brain off, still dodging.
Right, exactly. It's very much that's why I want it to be almost like autopilot, right? That's kind of why I want you to move that way, or why I wanted you to move that way in the first place, was because everybody, it's setting up the fundamentals of just like how laning should look, right? Let's go ahead and see how your movement looks in this most recent game. Even though it's a loss, it should be good to look at. Yeah, it looks a lot more like you're playing max range, right? Like before, you would never be standing so far back. Look at that. See? It looks like you're more respectful of spacing now. Like you're playing, you know, you're playing a spacing game now instead of what you were doing before, which you were just kind of wandering around in the middle of the lane, right?
And eating random damage for no reason at all.
Right. Like this looks a lot more. It looks like you're choosing what you want to do. You're facing a blitz jungle, huh? That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's we lose this game and we have no business losing it because I get huge. But unfortunately, I have 2 people troll. Set comes in for a game.
Let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah, I think I canceled that and ended up farming it.
Okay. Because you
that was a dumb choice. Or I watched the replay and realized that was a dumb choice. Yeah, it was a dumb choice.
It's not that bad. What should have happened is you should have just like assist pinged it when he ganks it.
Yeah, I think when I looked at the replay and both, I noted it when I went back to the lane. I was like, I just put myself in a shit position.
So actually, I want to drill more into this so you can, because this situation will pop up a lot in solo queue in general, where the wave is in a strange spot. So now that we're starting to lane a little bit more respectably, right? Let's talk a bit about what happens once you get the situations like these. So the obvious answer is you want to push this, right?
Yes, but
okay.
I want to decide if I want to push 2 waves or 1, and in this case, the answer was push 2 waves.
Let me. It's not as simple as I want to push both waves. Okay. The key to this is actually something different, in my opinion. There's 2 options. Okay. It depends on what you want to do. So option 1 is, instead of pushing this at all, you could have just pressed B, like behind this minion, right? Like just right here. You could have just pressed B and TP. That would have been okay, I think. Because no matter what you do, it's going to be messy. Okay. That's the first tip here. Unless you want Set to stay in the lane and just push with you before this wave comes out. That I would have I would have just backed. First of all, I would have just like went to the side and backed or something. Like went in here, like behind the range creeps and backed is what I would have done.
And I think I ended up pinging him to help me push too.
Because you pinged. There's no assist pings. I hear the pings, but there's no. Now here's the other thing though. So I would have probably just backed and TP'd, or I would have done this. So you see how you're figuring out that like, oh, I should have pushed this, right? So you're thinking that you should have stayed out and pushed the wave up, right? But I'm telling you that what I would have done if I wanted to push, and this is why I'm doing this, is because it's a trickier spot. I would have just last hit here.
And then
wait for this wave. Then hard shove with the rest of my mana, because your spells can hit everything.
Gotcha.
Do you understand what I'm getting at here?
Yeah.
because using 2 spells, which is basically all I have.
Right.
3
So
billion
watch
is
what you do.
worthless.
Yeah, watch what you do. Now, even if you wanted to stay in push, it's awkward because you're pushed up. This is why I'm going over this, because it's kind of a strange situation. Because it's awkward, because if you push it as fast as you can, you would wind up getting stuck here, right? And if the enemy jungler is alive, right, even if it's a blitz, the blitz could kill you.
Yep. I do see him bot at that point.
Yeah. I'm just saying in general. Like, you wouldn't want to get stuck here, right? Because it's just...
I wouldn't even want to 1v1 Lux at that point. I'm at 40% health and no mana. Like,
So-
she doesn't even need a jungler. She can just walk at me and
Yeah, the idea is that, like, you build the wave, then hard push with all your AoE on this wave, and then you would have been protected if Lux comes for you, because you would have a giant wave. You would have been closer to your tower, right? So it's just an interesting spot to go over, because it seems like basically whenever a gank comes through, the wave gets fucked with, right? And so you can get some weird wave arrangements where it's like, do I push? Do I not? Do I back? Do I not? So that's why I was going over that. Anyways.
yeah. The TP was like not awful. I cost myself a few minions, but this was nothing. Super
Yeah,
easy to settle.
it doesn't kill our agency yet. Let's put it that way.
I see the blitz and I fuck off.
Yeah, I'm just... Just checking to see if you have a mini map.
Right.
Let's see if you start walking down.
Nope.
That's bad. This is really bad.
Yeah.
So what I would do here is after the shove, go down river and just bomb these guys. Even if you don't kill them, just bomb them.
Do I have enough?
Yeah.
100 mana? No, mana.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Don't forget, I play Xerath. Xerath's one of the champs I know how to play. Yeah, that would be the play here. It's just you go bomb them. Even if you don't kill them, getting them really, really low is super value when you've got
And it
Lux there.
stresses them out and gets the bot lane going. Because
Right,
if the bot
right.
lane was further ahead, probably would have.
I mean, I'm playing on Chinese solo queue, dude. Bot lane is everything, brother. Bot lane's rigged. Thankfully, in low elos, like on NA, no one can play the game properly, so it doesn't matter as much. But yes, if you snowball this lane, it's just super value. Yeah, it's super
I've
value.
seen you and a Draven ending a game at 13 minutes, and the guy had like 3 items at 13 minutes. It's fucking ridiculous.
Right, that was yesterday, right? That was yeah, that was yesterday. That'll happen from bot lane. So you did wind up going down there. It was just desynced. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a great timing. The reason why it's good that you went to do it, and the roam
I
isn't
think
that bad. Yeah.
I think I ended up looking that way, and I was already like, I don't, like I have no mana. If Lux shows up, I can't even defend myself. Like, let me just base and walk that way.
Yeah, but the argument against that would be, well, your window's closing, right? No one wants to
Yeah.
stay out there with 10% HP or whatever the hell they had down there.
Makes sense. I should have just. You're absolutely right. I should have walked over there, bombed them, and then based.
Yeah,
Or
but
walked
like
until
you
they
don't even
cut
care
it
about
off.
the result. That's the thing. Is like when you're walking down river, you don't care if you kill them or not. I mean, obviously you want to kill. You're trying to kill them, but I'm just saying that like you also need to realize that there's cooldown overlap too in this video game, right? So like if there's a play and you have it, you take it because that 2 minutes and 10 seconds we could be wasting, right? So if it takes us 30 seconds to base and walk over here and bomb them, that's 30 seconds that we see. Right now our ult would be up at 50 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's also about just leveraging, like, it's weird, right? Because like globally you want to pick your spots smartly, but at the same time it's like the game doesn't incentivize you to wait too often for stuff. That's why with Twisted Fate, that's why I was like Twisted Fate when I'm in a solo queue environment. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're talking like competitive environment where like every game or a game is like super important in a vacuum, right? That's why when you see when you watch pro play, that's why it doesn't seem like they're testing much. Because like when you watch like mid lane, it's like the guys are just farming a lot of the time back and forth. They're not really trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing. It's because in a vacuum, that game has a lot of value. Right? But in solo queue, right, in solo queue, it actually is more about, well, your teammate up here, let's say, what's his name? Let's say Audie up here on Kennen, right? Audie's a habitual drinker, right? So at like 13 minutes, Audie's gonna lose his mind and start like beating his wife or something, and he's not gonna be playing the video game anymore if he's losing.
Yeah.
Right? So a solo queue environment.
Enough, pretty much what happened.
Right. So funnily enough, if I don't ult on times, right, that I'm allowed to and get snowballs going or make my attempts, the window might be closing. And I'm not just talking about the Ashe disappearing. I'm just talking about, like, you never know when the game is like on its last breath, and it might have already been happening. So
yeah,
I just play like I play every situation as quickly as I can. And that's why generally, like, I'm using Chinese solo queue as an example. Those guys play pretty fast and play pretty aggro, but they also don't quit. And I'm starting to realize that, like, that's a big part of it. Like, playing solo queue at a high level is just almost playing like a psychopath. That's why it's optimal. So you have ult, someone's low, walk down, ult them, is the long story short there.
Sense. Yeah, botched the knee flash there.
Oh, you know, the little TP reset. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to stop her back and
Oh, you got a solo kill.
Yeah. It's because of fucking her out of that reset, because she ulted the wave, and I noticed she wants to leave, and I'm like, you're not leaving, motherfucker. And
yeah, stopping the backstop was good there, for sure. So these downtimes, you have Ludens, so I think you're missing value now. So this is a good spot. So you've done really well. Yeah. You've done really well here. This is a lot better than what you showed me the first time. Right? Like, the movement in lanes look reasonable, right? Like I said, it looks like you're playing. It's not perfect, but I can see that you're building it up, right? And it looks good.
And I'm starting to win as a result. Like, I'm not going 2-8 on Xerath. I'm going like 6-5 or, you know, 7-5,
right. And it might be us. And that's the thing, is like, while you're learning this play style, you know, you're gonna get caught and you're gonna run to places that you're not supposed to. But at least you're building off of the framework, right? And that's how I coach. Is I basically just try to get you playing the right way first. And then we go into, like, all right, let's build. It's building blocks, right? You're not just going to magically start laning properly. You're not going to magically get good at the game. It's going to take work. But, like, here, look. Now you're starting to do the right things, right? You've got 2 kills. This looks like a reasonable fucking game, right? Like, you've got 90 farm. You've got 2 kills. You've got your Ludens. You've got your boots. This is where I want you to be. Right? This is what I'm about. Now let's start making ourselves even bigger. You've got your Ludens, right? You clear wave. You have this downtime because you both are wiping waves instantly. Go and take the chickens. So just slide down. Farm chickens, you go back. Now we're adding in extra gold, right? This is more gold coming through.
Yep.
Now you clear the wave again. If there's no play in mid, guess what? If Set's not clearing his wolves and his power ganking, that's where you're going next. You're gonna take those wolves. If Lux roams to top and you know, you can only get like a plate or 2 safely, then maybe you take their chickens, right? Or maybe you run down and take Scuttle. Now you start branching out. But obviously with Xerath, you got to be very careful about moving into dirty farming. You're not Tryndamere. You can't just do what you want, right? You've got to like pick the right times to do this.
Use my eyes, make sure the jungle is somewhere where I can see them, make sure it's somewhere I can see them, no laners are missing. I'm starting to ping Set here, just like fight for this ping.
Yeah, it's good.
Let's go do it.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked good. I think, yeah, okay, so here, I would just be getting back to the wave. I think you're tunneling too much. You made your play. You can always ult over. Basically, when people leave waves like cannon waves and stuff, I feel like I'm watching somebody swimming who isn't trying to breathe.
Yeah.
Right? The flow of the game gets again, systems. You're in low elo. You only need systems, right? Even in your fights. You fought for your ward, you beat the blitz. Get back to mid, relax, go back to mid. You're gonna be in ult range even if you want, but get back to mid and shove, because that's an easy way to get a plate if Lux chases this fight. And then you can always just ult over, right? But you're tunneling on the fight itself and trying to get more out of it.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're fighting bot lane. Let me just get something on there. And I think she flashes because I ult, but
yeah, it's not terrible, but it just we're missing a full cannon wave. We could be keeping our XP lead, right?
Not just the cannon wave, but this previous wave I lost as well.
Right.
Like this one that you're looking at, that's gone, and then a whole cannon wave is also gone.
Right. Which, you know, again, if we're playing higher level, if we're playing, like, again, I keep using Chinese solo queue as an example, right? If you're playing Chinese solo queue, that's not a terrible play, right? It's not terrible. But when you're new, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any of that. You just have to get your farm, not die, and chill. The game will come to you. Any massive bounty someone gets, they're just going to give you those later, anyways, in most all cases. Just don't feel like, don't ever feel like I gotta do something. My team, like, people do that a lot as like justification for forcing shit or just like going blindly at fights. You just don't have to do that.
Yeah. Their TP was coming up cooldown, so
yeah, I think it was a good TP. I think it's fine. It's hard to get value out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't like this. I just want mid shoved.
Yeah.
Your ult's up. Like, your ult's up. Just shove. You can impact the map at any point. Now let's look at the actual, like, mechanics of this fight itself. Yeah, I would have loved to just tax them on mid. Because you have the angle on mid, you don't have the angle on dragon, right? So what I would have done, watch, we go back. So let's watch it. I'm putting myself in your shoes, okay? So you're clearing mid. You feel like you have to rotate. Okay, problem one. What if Blitz is in this bush?
Yeah, then I'm probably dead.
Right, you're gonna just get chunked before the fight even starts. That's the first problem that I see here. I wouldn't even be moving up. I would probably be moving down in the round if I was gonna rotate to this fight, or at the very least doing a lot of wiggles. You're not giving me any indication that you're even aware that you could die here, which is sus.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, any opponent worth a shit is looking at you like a bag of gold with this champion. First of all.
Yeah.
He should be, and you don't have flash, so you can't afford to be wrong. So that's the first thing. Like I said, I'm putting myself in your shoes. So right here is it's kind of risky. You're not always gonna get caught there, but higher elo you will. Higher elo you will, like, always get caught there. And then you're dicking around. Now, right now, I saw Blitz down here, and I just saw Lux here. Okay, or like around here. So I'm just gonna, if I'm you, I'm going to just ping on the way to mid, and I'm just going to shove, and then I'm going to rotate. So what that's going to do is that's going to get me to level 12 or close to it, right? Then if they miss that wave, it's the same punishment that I said you had on yourself. She's going to miss things if she doesn't rotate back. Then you take the fight. You bait your team a little bit, right? But they're not on dragon yet. There's no urgency here, right?
Yeah.
Now you could say, "Oh, NEACE, well, they can get engaged on." Well, you could get engaged on. They're not. You being there is not going to stop that. You can't even walk up. You can't walk in front of set.
Yeah.
So what you do is you shove, and then you Hawkeye it though. Like, as you're shoving, you keep looking down as you're shoving. Once the fight breaks out, if it breaks out, you immediately are, and you just put pressure, just like you did, right on probably Ashe. You just ult Ashe. Your ult range is pretty wide. Right? So it only takes you like a smidge. Like, you only have to walk down to like here to ult her.
Especially level 2 ult. I don't remember if it actually increases range. With,
it does. It does, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So you are now your game is starting to fall a little bit goofy, in my opinion. At least in terms of like low elo, like smurfing mindset.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to this type of stuff. Like once you, if I guess a good way to put it is, if you have an open lane, just shove it.
Yeah.
Because it's a hell of a lot easier and reliable. Because remember, your goal is to get fed and carry, right? And to stop yourself from throwing. The best way to stop yourself from throwing is to just remove this, like this XP, make someone have to walk here or lose tower damage, and then play the fight. You get more gold, they lose gold. So the distance, the gap, the gold gap is basically a champion kill. If you factor in like, okay, I get this much gold from the wave, like the cannon wave, and they lose a cannon wave, that's essentially a champion kill.
Yeah.
And XP. So, yeah. Anyways.
Makes sense. So we're just dicking around here forever.
Right. So now you go to push and see,
And
you all did the ARAM dance, except it was just break even, right? It's break even. Like the enemy team gets like a kill or something, but they get to pick up the farm and they don't lose anything.
Yeah.
But really all you did was just dance around and fling like 2 abilities. Your abilities would have gotten more reliable value on a minion wave.
Yeah.
It's a good way to think about it. Right.
Yeah.
Because even landing some piddly damage on a Zyra or a Blitzcrank isn't going to get you gold guaranteed, right? This is going to get you the gold guaranteed. And I guess that's a big reason why I coach this way, is because I'm thinking more about small wins and just getting the reliable small wins than the big, multi-kill win.
But it is, League is a game about small wins. The difference between 6.7 CS per minute and 8.2 CS per minute is fucking...
Right, and it's ridiculous, maybe not in a vacuum. Right? Maybe not in a single game.
Yeah.
Because in a single game, if a guy gets like a multi-kill because he rotates, he goes, ooh, that's more than 8 point. You see what I'm saying? That's more valuable than the farm.
Yeah, but like
Right.
the farm gets the item so much sooner, which means the next time an opportunity comes around, you kill instead of having somebody walk away at 5%, and it just snowballs you so much harder.
Right.
Like, games have gotten much easier once they started farming 7.7 to 8 over farming 6.5 to 7.
Right.
Like I'm facing half the difficulty of League with the same opponent.
Right, exactly. And the other thing too is that you also have to remember that your farm's going to be in the same place at the same time every game, right? Minion's going to spawn on the 05 and the 35 every game. Right?
Yeah.
Minions are gonna meet at the fucking on the minute and on the 30 every game.
And they're not gonna have any MR, and with the blasting one at level 9, as long as it's before 8 minutes, I'm killing the backline with 1Q every time.
Right. Yeah, a cannon never shows up to the lane with Edge of Night. A minion never flashes away.
Exactly.
A minion doesn't take barrier, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. And like, realistically, if we prioritize that every game, and like again, it's like you want to help your teammates, but it's like the brights and shinies are distracting you from the small wins. Still, we haven't lost the game yet. There's nothing here that's like game-endingly bad yet. Like, I'm watching this. All right, so you rotate down.
I see the blitz pathing, so I fling the last 2 and fuck off.
Right. So, rotation's okay. Let's see.
Blue team's turret has been...
I would have just blasted the wave first.
I think I do. No, I don't. That was bad.
Right. It looks pretty bad in hindsight. Yeah, you just get desynced from the wave a little bit.
It's 4 CS, that's lost 100 gold.
Right.
Do that 4 times, and that's an extra item completion for like a minute delayed. Yeah.
Zeref's so funny. Everybody thinks Zeref's OP until they actually play him and realize that he can't move past this point of the map ever.
Yeah.
Right? You feel so awkward. You're just like, okay, I just stand here, I guess.
I mean, pretty much. Just stand and wait for the farm to show up. This is where I start trolling. Just fair warning. I'm fucking trolling here.
Okay.
I watched over this and just watch. Here comes. Next wave, I'm trolling. Oh, there, I'm trolling. There.
Okay, so the question I have for you right here is
Why not just alter?
Yeah, why not just pull back and ult after you land like one more big damage? I would have just walked. So you have blue trinket? You do.
I have blue trinket and ult. So
oh,
I
you're
blue
fucking.
Trinket her.
Yeah.
I'm trolling.
You should have backed
All
up.
I have to do is
Yep.
blue trinket and ult this bitch, and she dies.
I would have backed up the tower. Yep, and just fire blue trinket off and just see if she responds.
Yeah. And what I do instead is flashy under tower as fucking Xerath, so that's not the move, obviously.
Wait, was that a buffer? Hold on, let me see that.
Yes, it was.
Let's see the swagginess. Oh, he's got animation cancels. I don't know why we're doing it here, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad mechanically. It just that's terrible macro, but
Yeah. That was worthless.
he's going big. It's just not the time to do that.
No, I watched over that in facepalm. I do that 2 more times without the flash, by the way. I died to Luxar and Ashar 2 more times. So I sit in this lane for the next 5 minutes while Ash farms in front of me, and I just die to her R on cooldown.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So okay, yeah, that's the first. So basically, right now you're the enemy team's win con at the moment, and I don't think you're realizing that their comp is like destined to kill you, and your positioning doesn't reflect that you're aware of it. So let's talk about this more. You say, well, I died to her arrow on cooldown. That was going to be the next thing that I get on you about, is because you keep squaring up with her, and I'm like, eventually she's just going to start blasting us with ults.
Yeah.
And her team comes out of the fog of war. So the landing the poke can be okay-ish if you know where everybody is. So even when you were landing poke on her the first time, it was stressing me out, to be clear. Because I'm just like, Blitz can show up, Ash Arrow comes down. When you wasted you had flash though, so I was like, whatever. Some people play different than me. I'm not like, like I said, I'm very emotionless when it comes to poke champs. I don't try to show off at all. So like I'll sit way farther back, but I don't mind it if you have flash. If you want to be like, I have a lead, I think I could poke her down and alter. That's fine because you have flash, and I don't really see how everything's conditional in their comp. Well, maybe Scion ult, but I guess if you hear that, you just run backwards.
And I'm looking on the map at where Scion is. If Scion's not in Fog of War and I hear the ult, I'm assuming it's coming at me.
But the bigger problem is your positioning. You're way too close here without flash. She always can pressure you by her. She could kill you by herself, actually. Depending on the confidence level of the ADC. Even though she's level 12 here, she's level 12, but she's fed, and she has Gale. So like, she could just engage, and if she sidesteps your E, you just die. You just lose.
Yep.
And in this, you're definitely gonna lose. If Lux happens to be here, you're definitely dead, and that's what I figured might be happening.
Yep, so that's 2 of those are like Zyra being there was just a bonus. Like, she didn't even cast a spell. And I think I ended up dying a 3rd time to that same combo.
Yeah, it just means you have to give them more credit. In the same way I'm telling you to give people credit positionally, you have to give people credit that they can R you, right? Like, she can R you. If she's not doing it, it's because she's bad. It's not that you're good or you're doing the right thing. It's that she's just being bad for not doing it if you walk up to the wave. If she doesn't immediately see you, have her team near, or see your team split, and it's the same rules to her, by the way. If she's in mid, and she looks around, and you look like, you see how we've got the mini map here with the heads?
Yeah.
if you saw your teammates are like sitting on waves and it's in enemy vision, and she's sitting here and she's by herself, it's like the reverse mind game, right? Sometimes you can act like you're the shit because they can't see your teammates, like your teammates are behind you, right? So you can act like you're the man and no one can fuck with you. However, if your team is like on a wave up here or down here or on vision fighting, like hitting a pink ward or something, right? Usually that's a sign to your opponent that they're going to try to ult you now. Because it's, you know, they have the green light in their head. So it's like realizing that they're even... or that they have a green light in the first place, and whether or not there's some bluffing in this game, just like poker.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Did you just flash for a red buff?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
no,
flash for the blitzkrieg.
Yeah. Those bullets coming down, and he took the blue buff, and he was like talking mad trash, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just take the red buff to prove a point. But that's about all the trolling that I've done. That was definitely an A feeling. I probably shouldn't have done that. And I think this dragon is where we lose the game.
Holy shit! All right, this is where I get on every Xerath player, okay? Hold on. I want to see how this fight goes first.
It's not over yet. No. It's let me tell you, this fight's 2 minutes long. There's 2 more minutes.
And
to
I'm
go.
gonna explain. Yes, there's a reason that I'm watching the whole thing.
No, that's not the dragon I was referencing. This.
So you should have just ulted like a year ago. I teach every Xerath player this once they get coached by me. So the fight's about to break out. Watch this. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
You should have just ulted right.
There.
Yeah, you should have just ulted right here. Literally just hit Zyra in the head a bunch of times. Just start bonking her in the head. Here's why. Because you, first of all, you actually can just like push her out of the fight completely.
Yeah.
Right from the jump. As the game goes on, this is a common mistake that Xerath players make, right? Is they hold on to the ult until somebody gets low in late game, okay? It's actually the reverse. So as the game gets going, and ideally you would have taken jungle camp, she'd be level 16 right now, okay? But with your level 16, you actually can just kill people outright, first of all. But even if, I think you could kill Zyra outright right now, anyways. But the point is that you just need to open on her immediately. Because then you go to the fight. Watch, you're about to go to the fight, and you're about to poke for half an hour anyways. Ready?
Doing nothing.
This whole time, it's not doing nothing. It's useful. But this whole time, we could be running that old timer down again.
And Zyra wouldn't have been there flinging your shit at us if I had ulted her. She would have been too afraid to join this.
Right. Now, are there exceptions to this rule? If the enemy team has like a ton of sustain, you may not want to try this. It may just be wasted value, right?
Like a Yumi type stuff.
Yeah, like if you're just gonna drop it on a champion with like a Soraka next to her, it's probably not gonna work. However, if it's a champion by yourself and there's no healer next to her, and you know that,
or if I drop it directly on the Soraka
or on the healer, and you get her ult before the fight, that's a game changer too.
Yeah.
It could be very powerful because you know her health or her HP bar is part of her resource. Right, because she can only heal based off her health. So yeah, I mean, there's options there. One of the boot camps I did, not the most recent one, but a previous one that I was involved with. I had a bunch of guys in the VIP doing, it was like in-game 5v5s. And the minute that I told the Xerath, anybody playing Xerath, like if you have ult to fucking just spam it late game on people, I was playing with them and they would just ult me every time out of the fight, and it was the most annoying shit ever. And they're in like gold. Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't play the game. Like if the game dragged on to a certain point and I showed up, I don't know what I was playing. I think I was playing like just some sort of like carry champ, like hyper carry champ. And they would just ult me, right? Every time. If they saw me right before a fight, they would just ult me. And I can dodge the ults. But like you get hit by like 1 or 2, like
Yeah, you can't.
it hurts. Like
anymore.
yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
And like it changes the way you can you can't just do what you want and like carry a fight out. So it's a really good way, Ashe or Zyra, really good way to just to flip pressure on the enemy team, because you could see them kind of engaging back here. Like when you go back, you could see them setting up to engage your team.
Yeah, there. I see
Right
4 heads
there.
on the minimap. The instinct should be ult.
Oh, I could just ult this Ashe, right? And stress her
Yeah.
the fuck out. Or this Zyra, stress her the fuck out. And I could just change this whole fight. Think about it. These guys won't even be able to auto.
Yeah.
She can't auto. She can't do this.
Yeah. Cannon would have lived.
Like, that's what I'm mean, right? Is that they would have felt, it would have been a wildly different fight. So, yeah, I think now your laning's starting to come together. Let's try to get, because I've VOD reviewed for a little while this morning. Let's try to get another game in. I'm liking where you're going now. Right? You're still kind of like ooga booga towards fights a lot. Right? I'd rather you overcorrect and be a bore and really just crush farm at the beginning and prove that you have the discipline to get through long games with giant farm.
Makes sense.
Prove
I've
you've got mental
seen a video
fortitude.
where you coached a Xerath about a year ago and you told them just to start bombing the ADC. And the further fight in this game, I end up bombing the Lux out of a fight and we win it as a result.
Right, yes. That has to be what we do, like, the majority of the time late game. Because Xerath actually, like, I was really struggling with Xerath until I started doing that in solo queue.
Yeah.
Once I started doing that, because you'd get to late game and it's like, okay, I'm like in the late game fight and I have damage, but like I'm not. This isn't reliable. Yeah, it's not. This isn't
your way and you're disappeared.
Right. It's like, this isn't reliable though. Like, how can I be more reliable? And I started realizing, like, if I see somebody squishy, I just ult them, and like if I kill them, that is reliable, because I could do that from downtown. I could do that from in my base, right?
Yeah.
Like if my team's losing and I'm fed and my whole team's behind and there's like a fed carry, if I just ult that guy before the fight, he's out of the fight. We might win it, or I just kill him, right? And then we just push out. It's stuff like that that's reliable. So it's about making him less of a coin flip. People think Xerath carries really hard, and he does carry damage and KDA, but he doesn't actually win every time. Because you could have a crazy KDA on Xerath and not be able to move. That's a common problem. That's how you fix that.
A lot of my losses, I'm like doing 6 to 10 KDA and we still lose. It doesn't matter.
Because you can't move. Yeah.
And because the damage. So if you go to that VOD and if you wouldn't mind seeing, like, towards the end, as we were losing, like, I was dragging that game on for 15 extra minutes, more than it had any business going. I would flank from like far away in space max range, just fling Qs and Ws and end up picking off their carries with Qs and Ws from the side. That very Lux game we were just watching.
Oh, this one?
This one, yeah. For like at the end, there's a fight in base where I'm just flinging shit on them.
We can look at it while we're waiting for a game.
Yeah.
Just for good entertainment.
Yeah, there's like a dragon fight where we end up sitting on a dragon for like 2 minutes, and Set shows up and Ash steals it with an auto attack or something.
This was the dragon fight. Yeah, this was the dragon fight. So we'll skim. We'll skim so we don't miss it.
And I got jungle, so I guess you're coaching me on Nocturne jungle instead.
Do you want to dodge? I only have time for one.
5-minute timer.
I could watch the VOD and then we could try again. And if we get stuck on jungle, we'll do jungle again. But I'll watch the VOD in the meantime all the way to the end.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Because I really want you to, you've gotten 2 coachings. I really want to make sure that this Xerath shit gets ironed out.
Yeah, I for sure.
So we died to, was the Ash Arrow thing again? Let's
Yeah,
see.
that's the 3rd death to Ash Zyra.
So you're in mid. All right, so yeah, let's talk about this. So positionally, you're like, obviously getting hit by the arrow is bad, but what's more bad is you feel the need to move forward versus Baron. Watch.
Yeah, like what business did I have standing there?
Well, what business do you have? What business do you have standing there, or just not backing? Like, this should all be max range anyways.
Yeah.
Like, right here, yeah, you're walking way close, and it's
Like,
just.
why?
I would rather you be. You guys have all done this, and you can ping them off. I actually usually in this situation, I would ping them off and stand here and just like do like a missing ping, like, yo, bro, like it's a Baron team. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because when you die, listen, if you had died versus like normal minions, this wouldn't be a big deal. But you died versus Baron.
Yeah. But they, for some reason, end up doing absolutely nothing with this. I think they take like 1 tower and leave.
Yeah. It's not great though, because they could have momentumed your team off of that too. That's the other That's the other thing, is that they technically, you die, Blitz hits another hook, then someone dies, and Blitz hits another hook, and someone dies, and then it's just the game's over,
Like,
right?
it's the end of the game,
Right.
yeah.
That will happen, especially versus Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank and Thresh. Guy just goes on the fucking. You could just hear like the fucking. It's like you playing street ball. It's like a bunch of. It's like a bunch of basketball players like ho every time the dude gets fucking hooked. he's just getting jammed on, and it's like the next guy walks up, ho, and they all just keep. Like,
Yeah.
God damn it, dude. We gotta stop being hooked. And you're like, then you're walking up, you're like, oh, my team is. They just keep dying, and then you get hooked over the wall. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I've experienced that
Right.
before.
Everybody
And
has,
over there,
man.
They start pinging me like, why am I farming there?
Yeah.
And it's for Rabadons, so I end up pinging them that it is to finish Rabadons.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
This is for sure. If we haven't lost the game at that point, we definitely, like, this is where it's really over. Like, this fight coming up.
I'm ulting her right now.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're not flipping into you're it's like this, right? Like you're like a timeline right now, right?
Yeah.
So like right now, the timeline of like, okay, I stay in lane, I hit my CS, right? Your lane opponents are pretty weak, so this is looking pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Then as the game drags on, you're a little shaky, right? Ash gets snowballed and starts picking you from like the middle of lane. It's weird, right? It's new terrain, you're pretty fed, right? This journey of Xerath, like, this is a little bit shakier. You're not taking camps as often as you should be, right? And like you can get picked, and a lot of this is just being aware that it's called invisible lethals, is what it is.
Yeah.
So like Ash can kill you, right? And in this case, she's killing you in lane sometimes, right? Which is obviously bad, but like,
But a lot of times she'll base and fling it at me.
fling it from out of. So this means that you're not aware of this yet, as often as you should be, right? And it'll build. And now I'm starting to see us getting towards like the red territory. We're making mistakes. Like this is like beginning, middle, and end. So early game, mid game, and late game. So now what we're doing here in late game is, you know, Ash arrows are obviously a huge threat to us from out of vision. We're not aware that we could lose the game off of those. And then we're dying at times that like Baron could, like, the enemy team has Baron, so you should be exaggerating your defense, and you're not, right? You're staying kind of out in the open. You're doing things that are a little bit just like greedy. Like you didn't get called out on it right away, but then you do get called out on it eventually. And then like again, like the mid game when you were rotating, you like rotated, you skipped over waves to rotate, right? So there's things here that are starting like in the journey here. There's things that are falling apart the longer the game goes. Now this is common.
Yeah.
This is common. My goal is to get you really confident in what all stages look like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I definitely, that resonates. I feel that. I feel as the game goes on, my confidence level drops
Right.
further and further.
It's
and
like, what
further,
the fuck
even
am
though
I
get
doing?
more damage and more items.
Right. Yeah, that's common. And by the way, this is why, again, if you look at pro play, pros try to drag games out for a long time in pro play. The really good teams. There's more decisions. There's more shit that they're aware of, right? There's more actives. You see what I'm saying? The skill gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the longer the game goes. My focus though is to try to demystify the late game more. And it really just starts as simple as this. Once we're late game, we're 16. If this guy shows his face, you're getting
Press
quit.
on.
Like if I'm watching a VOD and I see this, I'm like, if I'm Xerath, this guy's getting R'd.
Yeah.
Right? No one can kill you, right? You know no one can kill you here.
Yeah.
And you just start bombing her. She'd get mad at you and like fling an R at you. They can do that sometimes.
Great. That's fantastic. I'll take that trade, right?
Right. So you can get mad, but by the time the R hits you, you're still gonna get all of them off.
Yeah, and or like she'll get half her HP gone. Dragon's coming up. She has no R. Now she has a choice to base and just not show up, or show
Right.
up half HP and no R. Like we basically won that dragon right away.
Right. So the idea is that like, if she does this, great. She's probably gonna get hit anyways, and it's gonna hurt. Caitlyn's gonna ult it though. This is the other detail. So you should have pinged it, a target pinged, and opened R and just start bombing. So she gets to do this. None of you guys pressure her. She gets to rotate to drag and set up for it. And then she Rs and hits a teammate, right? And gets their sums.
And then they like watch this shit right here.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
How crazy is that though?
Yeah, right. Just one R and she's half HP and
Right.
freaking out, getting Zhonya's and shit.
Right. That's why we just open it, because it puts them in a really tough spot where they can't feel confident. And then she's never ulting your teammate ever. And so
it's the next dragon. I queued, by the way. It's the next
Good.
dragon. I think that I really wanted you to watch. Just the fucking madness that's happening.
We'll skip ahead. Bing, 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 bing.
Right? Just 5 basketballs and then this. Yeah, Xerath is I've had low confidence with him, but he's like, once I started getting the early game down, he's really fun. This is
Absolutely.
the fight where I'm like on the side, I'm just walking around and baiting. Right here, this is the flanking. I end up killing Lux right there.
That's
Like
good.
she's just dead. And then they can't end off of that, like it's just walking around flinging things. Blitz was good, I should have died there. And we got mid, by the way.
Yeah, the only thing here is, again, ult sooner. Zyra should have been out of the fight a long time ago. But it was good. I mean, the defense was good. If you just put the R in front of that whole sequence,
Yeah. So
you went right to it.
Master Eben.
Yeah. This was good though. Like I said, you understand what I'm saying too, where it's like you're building your framework, right?
Believe it or not, once I spent $250 on coaching twice, I figure I should probably get some value out of it.
Yeah, man.
You know, like listen to what the fuck you have to say and learn off of it.
Right.
Improve. It's might be a novel concept to some people.
Yeah, these fucking Facebook spams are getting real intense. I lost my son to cancer about a week ago. He was a strong kid and fought a good fight, but God knows best. I bought him a PlayStation 5. Unfortunately, he never got a chance to see it. I'm Sylvia to give out the PS5 for free because seeing it hurts my soul. Send me a DM if you want the gaming system. That is advanced spam. Like, I don't even feel like deleting it.